Hello my students. Today I will discuss about the Mayurbhanj Chhau. The word Chhau needed no derivation for itself. It is an independent colloquial Uriya word meaning to attack or hunt steadily, as can be found in Pramoda Abhidhana, the most authoritative Uriya lexicon. The word Chhau, on the other hand, has three colloquial derivatives. Chhauka, meaning the quality of attacking steadily. Chhauri means armorer. Chhauni meaning the military camp. There is evidently a martial ring in the connotation of each of this word, and hence Chhau Nach probably never meant a mask dance but a war dance. Further, where very distinct martial strain can also be traced in the basic character of the dance form. The spinal posture of Mayurbhanj Chhau, called Chhauka, if compared with that of the Odissi dance, will show a mark of distinction in the martial nature. The Chhau of Mayurbhanj Chhau vibrates with the versatility of the mythological hero, whereas the Chhau of Odisha is mellow with devotional quietude and project to the mind the image of Lord Jagannatha. It is also because the initial inspiration for Mayurbhanj Chhau came from the warfield, whereas Odissi blossomed out of the rich silence in the temple of Lord Jagannatha under his divine inspiration. Mayurbhanj Chhau dance is prevalent in the southern part of Odisha, in the state of Mayurbhanj. Within the region, there is a very large variety of tribes who in turn share many common features with the tribes of Madhya Pradesh and Bihar. These tribes range from the Munda group of Austric and the indeed even anthropological differs on the classification of linguistically. These tribes belong to the Munda group of languages, are inheritors of an non-Indo-Aryan stream. A close look at the community which perform the Mayurbhanj Chhau dance shows that although the dance is an expression of a village culture, it has carried forward many purely tribal elements. The groups of people who perform the dance are almost without exception people of what we term in India as the backward classes. Among the categories listed in the constitution are the Nats, the Bhadas, Bhumijas, Paiks and others. Mayurbhanj Chhau is performed by priests from amongst these. Herein lies the key of the interactions between lives of the Indian society, ranging from tribal to village to the high caste. In the proportion rites connected with Mayurbhanj Chhau, there is one which revolves around the establishment of a pole that a place which should be a few miles away from the village. The pole continues to represent Lord Shiva. The devotees are called bhaktas, a word which also is often as the bhaktas. There is so far little known written history of Mayurbhanj Chhau. There are also no texts in short. From the outside, it would appear that the form is purely Desi, folk or popular, dependent on oral tradition. However, a close look at the chronicles of Kalinga kingdom and of their principles tells us of flourishing martial tradition where warriors called paikas are maintained in large numbers. We do learn of dance performance which may have been called Chhau during Man Singh's visit to Bengal and Odisha. The sculptural tradition reinforces this evidence by the polarific depiction of war scenes, shield and sword, play and acrobatics. These range from the reliefs of Khandagiri and Udayagiri cave to the medieval monuments of Bhubaneswar and Konarak. Much later, in the 1780s and 19th century, we do come across the emergence of the scroll or pata painting tradition of Odisha. While the Krishna themes dominates the content of this painting, there is evidence here also the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Many characteristics, postures and stance of Mayurbhanj Chhau have a close affinity with the stance and postures arrested in stone. Line and color in these reliefs and in these paintings from the sculptural and painting evidence. It would appear that Mayurbhanj Chhau dancers were not unaware of the principle of the treatment of the human form. As it is known to the sculptors of great tradition in content also, Mayurbhanj Chhau incorporates themes drawn from the Mahabharata, Ramayana and dance revolving around Shiva and Krishna. In addition, there are dances which definitely depict only martial drill. These include numbers like the Astro Dandada. Beside the above themes, there are also others which revolve around everyday life, such as the hunter's dance and the trick dance using poles, ropes and pots. During the rule of Bhanjo dynasty in Mayurbhanj, the different tribal and folk dances were assimilated in the martial art form. The local sports like pike of the combats, sadhan and also Porikhanda Khel were integrated. Pike literally means the bodyguard. Sadhana or different type of plays are there. Dekhiya, Bajdum, Chatigara, Lunatola and Khunj Moja. The sport Porikhanda Khel was similar to Porikhanda, is called the Rugmar Nach. The sport Porikhanda Khela has the weapons, the sword, spear and the shield, Khanda. Sword locally the Pori and shield is Khanda. Another play which is similar to Pori Khanda is called Rukmar Nach. Ruk means resist, that is defense, and Mar stands for attack and be beaten. The tribal dance Amadalia Jamadalia is another motivation of shaping Chhau here. The dance karma in the famous Parab or festival has also exerted its influence in Chhau. Ritual connected with Mayurbhanj Chhau are spread over the whole of the year. The occasions are considered appropriate for their dance. One is near Dasara time and other is Chaitra Prabha, or we can say Chaitra Prabha. Chaitra Prabha is celebrated throughout India as the great harvest festival. About 15 days before the Chaitra Prabha festival, particular persons are enrolled for undergoing the ascetic practice connected with the ritual. They fast, take a ritual bath, visit the temple of goddess Ambika, and then proceed to offer worship to Lord Shiva at the consecrated place. The ritual concludes in the Pata ceremonies. The bhaktas are not ordinary people. After their initiation, they have to perform a fire walking ritual called the Nine Pata. They perform another rite where the devotee is suspended by foot on a pole over a flaming fire. This ritual called Jhula Pata. Finally, they hang in suspension by their arms while a pole makes a complete revolution on a T-shaped structure. There also is some walking on thrones. These and other ceremonies come only on the 26th day of the month of Chaitra, when a pitcher of water is brought out to hurdle of beginning of the festival. The earthen pitcher is painted crimson with vermilion and is sanctified with mantras. The ghata represent Mahashakti and is called Jatra Ghata. On the first day of the festival, which would roughly coincide with the last 3 days of the month of Chaitra, corresponding to April 11, 12 and 13, the Chhau dancer proceed on into the area where the ritual has been performed, but at an actual temple of Bhairava. The teachers or the gurus of the dancer are not called gurus but are called ustad. Obviously, some syncretism has taken place. The ustad and musician worship Bhairava and also initiate new dancer on that day. The initiation is done through tying a piece of red thread on the right wrist of every dancer. The ustad and musician are given new dhoti to wear. The preliminary is over. The whole assembly performs the ritualistic pranamic dance. The characteristic feature of this dance is an offering of the leaves of wood apple and flowers mix with the earth of the participating area of the dancer. All these are tied in a piece of red cloth. Each dancer offered these pranams to these articles, which first were offered to the Lord Bhairava. At the end of the festival, at midnight, another pitcher, this time called the Nishi Ghata or the night pitcher, or sometime also the Kamuna, the desire Ghata. In many ways, these ghat also represent Shakti. Another ritual connected with the dance is the offering of a specially prepared dances to the sun god. This is performed sometime during the festival. Perhaps it is permanent to recall here that such worship is common to many tribes and villages as well as to the sophisticated high class Brahmin of Odisha. All these rituals have a deep symbolic meaning according to Hindu philosophy. From the various ritual interlinks together, it is apparent that Mayurbhanj Chau as an institution was meant to achieve religious, social and cultural integration. Soibite persons adhering to Shakti cult, sun worshipper, Vaishnavite, all are integrated together admirably in a festive atmosphere. At the time of Maharaja Harihar Bhanjo and Maharaja Jagannath Bhanjo, people celebrated Chaitra Prabha, that is Chaitra festival during the month of Chaitra or March-April. Here the story of Ramayana is enacted in Ram Navami Nat. This Ram Navami Nat presentation has also exerted its influence on Chau. Again around 1868 to 1882, a folk play, Kaji Paji, patronized by Maharaja Krishna Chandra Bhanjodeo, also become popular. Scholars are of opinion that this folk play also influenced Chau. Mayurbhanj dance is prevalent in the southern part of Odisha. In the state of Mayurbhanj, within the region, there is a very large variety of tribes who in turn share many common features with the tribes of Madhya Pradesh and Bihar. These tribes range from Munda group to Ostrich, and indeed even in anthropologists differ on the classification. Linguistically, these tribes belong to Mundra group. Languages are inheritors of and non-Indo-Aryan streams. Between 1830 and 1834, an uprising by the Kol tribes was seen in Baman Ghati, a place nearby Seraikella. Maharaja of Mayurbhanj, Krishna Chandra Bhanjodeo, supported the British to comfort the effort of this freedom movement of Kol community. During his stay at Bamanghata, Krishna Chandra witnessed the Seraikella Chau performance. He was deeply moved by that performance. He decided to introduce the same in Baripada, which was the capital of his state, Mayurbhanj. Accordingly, he requested two gurus or trainer, popularly called Ostad of Parikhanda of Seraikella, Sri Bonomali Das and Sri Upendra Biswal, to come to his place Baripada, give training to the people of his state. Accordingly, Maharaja Krishna Chandra Bhanjadeo opened two groups, Utsahi and Dakhin Sahi. Sri Bonamali Das became the trainer of Utsahi and Sri Upendra Biswal became the trainer of Dakhin Sahi. Apart from these two masters, Maharaja Krishna Chandra specially included his two brothers for looking after the two groups. Sri Vrindavan Chandra Bhanjadeo was given the responsibility of Utsahi and Sri Gokul Chandra Bhanjadeo for Dakhin Sahi. Maharaja regularly arranged competition of Porikhanda Khel between these two groups. Gradually, the Porikhanda Khel became very popular among the general people. After the demise of Maharaja Krishna Chandra Bhanjadeo, his son Sri Ramchandra Bhanjadeo became the Maharaja of Mayurbhanj. He was very efficient and his outlook was very modern. During his time, art and culture of Mayurbhanj reached its peak. He continued to patronize the Porikhanda Khel, and finally, with his enthusiasm, Mayurbhanj Chhau began to take its proper shape, inspired by Chhau dance of Seraikela. He took the initiative to develop Mayurbhanj Chhau as a separate style of Chhau. He appointed his two brothers, Sri Shamacharan Bhanjadeo for Utsahi and Sri Damchandra Bhanjadeo for Dakhin Sahi. Unfortunately, Ramchandra Bhanjadeo died in an accident in 1912. His son Maharaja Sri Purna Chandra Bhanjadeo continued with the development of Mayurbhanj Chhau. His brother Pratap Chandra Bhanjadeo took to the throne in 1928. He considered another notable reformer of Mayurbhanj Chhau. He introduced piano, saxophone, clarinet, cornet and other western musical instruments in Mayurbhanj Chhau music. Maximum developments took place during his regime. For all this, in the history, the period of Maharaja Pratap Chandra Bhanjadeo is called the golden age of Mayurbhanj Chhau. The occasion and themes of the dances and the posture and stance clearly established the relationship of Mayurbhanj Chhau to dances prevalent in the region of Seraikela and Purulia, and speak of this multi-layering of many movements of developments. They also established the relationship of Chhau with other dances, dramas, form of India, particularly the Jatra of Odisha and Bengal. A very distant, similarly of narrative and dramatic structure can be seen with some forms of the Andhra Pradesh and the Karnataka region. This external evidence has to be correlated with the actual technique of the dance. Once we enter into the dance style itself, we find that it has shed almost all features of tribal, folk and village dance and has acquired a distinctive stylization which is a characteristic feature of the dance forms commonly termed as classical. The normal yardstick of identify a dance form as classical have been the existence or non-existence of a rich body of composed poetry, namely the Sahitya. A second yardstick has been existence or non-existence of a mutual composition which is based on this Sahitya and set to a rag system. A third creation has been existence or non-existence of a complex system of new numerous set of a particular metric system, namely the Tal. The fourth citation has been the existence or non-existence of a self imposed limitation of movement in relationship to space. Finally, there is the last touchstone of the relationship of the word to the note. The word and note to rhythm, and of the word, the note and the rhythm to the gesture. The Mayurbhanj Chhau can be analyzed from all this point of view and also from the point of view of its own distinctive principles of movement. And against the question whether or not it responds to any one of citation mentioned above, particularly to the criterion relation to principle and conventions of improvisation. Now I will discuss you about the presentation. Like other classical style of Indian dance, Mayurbhanj Chhau begins with two basic stance and postures. These postures are quite distinctive but have a strong affinity with the stance of the sophisticated Odissi. Bharatanatyam can be understood as a rhombus or a series of triangles in space, Kathakali as a square or rectangular, Manipuri as figure of 8, Kathak as a straight line, and the Odissi has a Tribhanga. Mayurbhanj Chhau in contrast has an open Tribhanga and Chauka as a basic motif. While in the Chauka, the weight of the body is equally divided along a central median, means the Madhya Sutra. In the Tribhanga, it is unequally divided and there are three distinct deviations from the central median. The dance itself, like the Seraikela Chhau, can be broken up into the topkas and uflis and the bhangis. All topkas, uflis and bhangis emerge from these two basic stances. All the unit of the movements are again classified from the point of view of the nature of the movement, namely strong, precise, quick traces, cutting and fluid, liquid and elastic. These are known by expressive terms such as Hatiyar Dhara, holding the weapon, Kali Kata, to cut with a weapon the softened end of a spring, and Koli Bhanga. Themes of presentation here are taken from mythology, Ramayana, Mahabharata, contemporary society and daily life. Animal, birds, nature and symbolic representation of poetic imagination. From the beginning, the items or presentation belong to two groups, that is Uttar and Dakshin Shahi. In Mayurbhanj Chhau dance, presentations are mainly divided in three categories: foot nach or solo dance, juri nach or duet dance, mel nach or group dance. In Dakshin Sai, foot nach are Nanda Dulal, Kumbhakarna, Madan Gopal, Parashuram. In Uttar Sai, they are Nataraj, Narad, Ram Shoka, Vairav Bandana, Madhava, Mahadev, Parashuram, Ekolabbo, Pavan Putra Hanuman, and many more. For Juri Nach or duet dance of Dakshin Sai are Krishna Balaram, Shambhu Nishambho and others. Juri Nach in Uttar Sai are Krishna Balaram, Madan Gopal, Premik Premika and others. For Mela Nach or group dance of Dakshin Sai are Dasavatar, Kirat Arjun, Dushanta Shakuntala, Tas Nritya and other. For Mela Nach in Uttar Sai, Tamuriya Krishna, Gaura Bandana, Meghdut, Desher Dak, Sagar Sangam and so on. In Mayurbhanch, the dancer communicates his feeling neither through the dialogue nor through the lyric, facial expressions and the movement of legs and body are the main tools for communication. In Mayurbhanch tradition, each dance item for the stage, whether solo or duet or group, follow 7 sequences. They are Dhumal, Juden, Rangbaja, Chali, Dharan, Nach and Natki. Dhumal is a benedictory instrumental music and is played by the musician before the dance begins. It is dedicated to Bhairava to seek his blessings. The music is called Dhumal and is divided in 3 kinds, Devi or Deva and Abahana Dhumal, which are welcome ceremony. So, Devi, Deva and Abahana, these are the 3 kinds. Abahana Dhumal is specially for welcome ceremony of the deities. Rudra Dhumal is welcome ceremony of Lord Shiva, who is also known as Rudra. Guru Pranam Dhumal is the homage to Guru. This is followed by the Juden, which is a group display of all instruments. The playing of it begins in a slow crescendo and reach a crescendo at the end. Rang Baja. The dance begins with Rang Baja is another orchestral concert. It is the worship of Rangadevata, which is, as the expression indicate, is the preliminary ceremony just prior to any performance on a stage. During this phase, the dancer remain behind the curtain, away from the vision of audience, completely ready to present the performance. The dancer becomes stimulated by the musician and warms up themselves for presentation. Next one is Dharan. After Rang Baja, the musician leave the performing area and take their seat and start playing the orchestra. At this stage, the dancer comes to the center of the main dancing area and takes the relevant posture and expose the characteristics of the dance. Next one I will discuss, that is Chali, literary meaning walking. After the end of Rang Baja, the orchestra takes up the melodic tune of the dance number. The curtain rises and dancer gradually come out with different rhythmic gaits to enter of the dancing arena. Then I will discuss about the nacha. Nach is another thing. At this stage, the dancer portray the theme of the dance. He or she expresses different emotional feeling of the character with the help of uflis. This part of the presentation is in medium tempo, that is madhyalaya. This is usually very long portion. Dramatic elements are a part of this. After that, now I will discuss you about Natki. Natki is the concluding part of the performance. In this stage, a high tempo is gradually built up with great dramatic vigor. Complicated footwork, fast movement with high tempo rhythm take the performance to the climax. Here, the mood conveys joyous and heroic spirit. After Natki, the dancer is in his own style of performance, bow to the audience and recede back through the stage.